I'm so fucking tired right now. But Clavicular made a video about him not being a jester for our entertainment. And I was going to make a mean title, Clavicular Jests for Our Entertainment. But I don't know. Like, I do actually get where he's coming from. In many ways, he's actually right with a lot of things. It's just based on false premises in certain ways. Like, for certain people, yeah, to a certain extent, your looks really do matter in life. And they'll open doors, whereas without them, you won't have access to as many opportunities, like both in terms of relationships and even careers, and even just people being more receptive to you. But I have to say, you're too online, bro. You're too online with him. And I get it as well, but you're 6'1", you've got a good face, a good hairline, a good physique. If you base what you think girls really want exclusively based on what you see on dating apps and what girls say while they're drunk when they're trying to be, sensational and like go viral with some edgy clip, some hot take, when they're basically clip farming, it's too much. You say that 5'8", if you're 5'8", you're invisible to the world. I'm 5'7", bro. I am a pure manlet, and I'm not invisible to the world. I've been with girls taller than me. I actually prefer it, to be fair. And the thing is, I know that if there was even like a few weeks when I was 13, 14, I used to live in Italy. Okay, this is funny. I was kind of into this girl who I was speaking to was in England, and I was really into it. I was such a simp. I was so dumb as a kid. This is a tangent, whatever. Oh God, it's fucking cringe. But yeah, fucking. She asked me how tall I am, and she said she's like only tiny. She's like 5'6" or something. And at the time, I didn't know feet. I only knew centimeters, but I lived in Italy. You know what it is. And I searched up what it was, the conversion to me, and I think I was 4'10". Oh my fucking God, at the time. And I'm like, oh, that's probably not too much difference. That's probably like a few centimeters, right? And I told her, and oof, that was rough. Oh my God, that's so funny looking back. But that was look, I grew since then. Like, my dad was like 5'1", 5 foot. So I did okay, I'm happy with where I am. Like, I'm the tallest in the family, so I can't complain. Like, my family in Italy are like, oh, you're so alto, oh mio Dio. And so, it's all relative. But if I was always online, if I don't know, if I lived in Netherlands or fucking South Sudan, I'm going to feel very different about myself if I'm in a wrong environment. Or nowadays, kids like Clavicular, I know he's an adult, but he's a very young adult. Instead of just being in your local environment, surrounded by people like your neighbours, it's expanded to the entire world. And I know there's nothing we can really do about it. There'll be girls in your fucking school who'll get messages from footballers or rappers or fucking Dubai billionaires offering to give them anything they want. So it's hard to avoid it to a certain point. But you have to realise even then, the girls that do go for those opportunities and stuff are such a minority, and most girls still are real people. Girls are real people. They actually aren't such shallow monsters and awful bitches, believe it or not. Like, it may be a bit cringe to say, a bit gay, but you should hang out with women sometimes and actually speak and get to know them. I know they can be annoying, whatever. They probably think the same about us, whatever. People are going to hate me for saying this, but whatever. It's one of those. But girls are really, I'd say they're less judgmental than men, in a way. Like, we are all very judgmental, especially to looks. But hey, it's one of those. This isn't, it's not black and white. There's layers to it. Like, I'm not even saying it's a good thing, but I have, like, been with more girls than, like, I think anyone I know in my personal life. And they're all fucking taller than me. Most of them have better faces. You know, it's other things that help as well. It's blue pill things, I guess you could say, but personality does help, or your character and other things. Even cheesy stuff like fucking guitar. Like if you're just a complete dork and a geek who plays guitar, obviously you're not gonna get anywhere with girls. But if you're already a decent person, you've got some character about you, and you look okay, and you seem fairly normal, and then you've also got a little quirky thing like play an instrument or something, speak an extra language, that shit helps as well. It's not gonna get you all the way, but obviously it's gonna open some doors. And when you put it all together into a collage, it's sort of like a halo where it sort of augments what each thing individually is not much, but all together they augment you. You know what I mean? Okay, it's one of those days. I'm a bit stoned. I'll admit. You know, it's a treat. Okay, so this is pretty unfiltered, fucking dialogue. Completely lost my train of thought now. Yeah, once you're an adult, like I get it. Like your development's sort of finalised. You're gonna have some flaws just from how we are as a modern society, malnourished. You're probably gonna have dental issues. I definitely do. Some deformities, recessed jaw. I think I actually have a recessed jaw. I could probably benefit from some double jaw and whatnot. I don't think I'd ever get it because I can cope with the beard for one, and even if I don't, like it's nobody's ever commented or mentioned it. I guess you could say my ear as well. Nobody in real life has ever seemed to care or notice it. I'm sure people would have said, or at least teased me with it if it was an actual problem. But if you're always in these permanently online communities, Luxmats in Black Pill communities, you're going to overanalyze every detail of yourself. And like I say, girls can go for ugly guys. Like they can go for people who have other characters. Obviously, if you're a complete fucking subhuman, yeah, that's bad. And I still think you should work on your looks, always. You should work on every aspect of yourself within reason. You shouldn't obsess and become a fucking crazy freak about it, because that's more off-putting. Like if I was super self-conscious about my hairline, always focusing on it, that's more off-putting than having a receding hairline, if that makes sense to you. Like girls and guys can sense insecurities in that way. So if you've got a flaw, you don't have to necessarily own it and be proud of it. Like I acknowledge I've got a receding hairline and I'm gonna go to Turkey very soon actually. But I don't let that get in the way of me living life, or I don't see that as making me a worse person. If I lived in a time where I couldn't even get a transplant, I'd just fucking shave it off once it got too bad, probably. Or just let it recede and get a skullet, go dwarf mode, embrace, you know, my genes, the Sardinian genes. But, so I get what it's saying as well. I think lots of it sort of, it's going to go past most normies where they're just going to see it as, you know, this is an Elliot Rodgers fucking Conor Murphy style video he's made where he's really losing the plot. It's like the signs before disaster. But no, I do think he's an actual smart guy. He's just, there's certain things where he's just fundamentally approaching it from a flawed angle where you can't possibly tell. It's like, I don't know, it's one of those surgeries I get. It's a cope, but it will work to at least fix the symptoms of what's going up with you. Honestly, I'd say that cosmetic surgeries are probably one of the best things to come of modern, you know, society and the world, like modern inventions, much more so than pharmaceuticals a lot of the time. They can be good too, but these things are very handy for a lot of things. But you've got to think, like, you constantly say that raw meat and everything's a cope. And I get it, it does seem so stupid. It's why I was in denial about it for years. It's like, bro, you can't just eat some beef and feel better. Don't be retarded. But bro, like, you're taking alprazolam. That's Xanax for normies, by the way. He's taking Xanax, benzodiazepines. Let me tell you, as a former fucking Xanax junkie, that shit fucks you up. And fair play if he's having a high IQ approach to it, taking it once a month, once every few months, very sporadically. Same with things like pre-gambling. You could technically use it to enhance your performance, you make you less of an aspie in social situations. But no one who watches that is going to take that from it. They're just going to start using it every week or every weekend even. Doesn't matter. Like, it's such a strong drug that you just become dependent on it, and it fucks you up really, really bad. And would you need to take alprazolam to quell your anxiety if your gut and body wasn't so disrupted from all the damage you're doing to it with exogenous hormones and just eating absolute slop? From what I've seen, you must eat a pretty decent diet, at least somewhat, but there's definitely a lot of shit in that shouldn't be. And diet aside, just the drugs as well. Everything, constantly going against where your body wants to be. Your body wants to rest sometimes, but you're blasting crystal meth or taking Xanax. You never let your body reach its own homeostasis. You're always disrupting it. So of course you're going to feel anxious or irritated and other things. And yeah, it's beyond looks as well. It's your mood and how you feel as a person. Your skin as well. Obviously I've not got great skin. I've got nasty bags at the moment. I've barely slept. I've been working. But I'm sure your skin would look a lot better if you weren't filling your body with poisons all the time and came off the steroids, which is going to age your face way more, ultimately. Like, your face is good enough. No homo. Like, your face is good enough. And you're fucking tall as fuck. If I can... Literally, I'm almost... Well, I think I am half a foot shorter than you. And I'd say my face is, like, a point or two worse than yours, at least. And I have no problem making connections with girls. I'm not talking about pulling in clubs. I don't do that. Like, that's one thing that's kind of a... Yeah, if you're 5'7", maybe you are invisible in certain things like clubs. Even then I wasn't, actually, but I've actually been approached in clubs. Weird to believe me. Fucking, how did they even see me? Like, hidden down there. But for me, it's just nasty. Drunk girls. Too grabby. I smell the booze on them. Even if I'm drunk, I don't know. I'm not drunk enough for that. But I mean, in regular life, like walking, I've been approached while sunbathing, or at work, or various past jobs in university at the time. Just day-to-day life and things. Things happen if you're more open and I'm not some normie either. I'm a fucking artist. Obviously, have you seen the fucking videos I come out with? It's insane. The first videos I made were fucking guitar lessons on a band that gets like 30 monthly viewers. No one gives a fuck about them. I'm pretty sure some of my tutorials probably got more views than some of the songs do in a month. It's insane. So obviously I'm not with the grain in any sense, but even I can sort of fraud or act normally enough to, make connections and stuff. Like, I do think it's right in keeping motivated and using it as a sort of thing to keep you going, though. You should never fucking lay down and rot, as he says. That is true as fuck. Like, even if you are fully, I don't know, my dad, once he was 5 foot. My mum was a very good looking woman when he married her. And obviously she's still pretty nice, she's my mum, but it's different, age bill brutal. But it's just how it is, He was shorter than my mum. And it wasn't money or anything either. He was literally poor as fuck. She even took him in at one point, and she was younger than him. So if he can do it, obviously it's different times. You can say fucking the world's changed with online dating. A lot of girls aren't even on it. I guess status maxing would be more of a thing. Like if you've got 100, like if you've got 1 million followers on Instagram, and you DM a girl, you're probably more likely to have your profile clicked on and checked out than like my fucking profile or whatever, or most men's. 0 fucking profile picture, private. It's just how it is. But there's still people in real life. You've got to be realistic. You should always aim to improve yourself. But yeah, don't obsess to this point, especially the pharmaceutical drugs. That's the main problem. Xanax. I'd rather you do crystal meth every day than do Xanax once a week. It fucks you up. And even for me, I think it's 6 years, I think, since I last did. Not Xanax, technically. It's been 7 years since then, but 6 years since I did diazepam, which is the last drug in that class of benzodiazepines, basically, that I did. And even now, I'd say I'm not 100% normal. In some ways, I'm actually better now, though, since I've ate, like, more naturally, eating more raw meat and things. Like, my gut finally feels more rested, and I feel more open to love and not just being an anxious wreck all the time. I'm still a work in progress, though. And, yeah. This is going to be a long, incoherent video as well. I'm going to clip out some points because there's bits in the video where I just fucking... I'm staring, but whatever. And I don't think he's crazy as well. Or you're crazy if you're watching, which I'd be amazed if you are. I do think you're right in many ways, and in some sense you are ahead of the curve. But there's more to life than looks. They will help a lot, but it just gives you a first chance with certain goals, and after a point it doesn't help much. Even if you are a fucking gorgeous boy, like, I don't know, 6'7", 9 out of 10 face on Tinder, even then, like, you'll match with way more, obviously, you're gonna match a lot more, but even then, probably at least half will still not match with you, just not the type, or they're just mass left swiping, or they're just not on the app, they just didn't use it. Sometimes you're not ahead because you're ugly. Sometimes girls generally, like, I've seen girls, you know, being hit up by loads of, like, better looking guys and end up with an ugly guy that they choose to be with. I guess because they trust that he'll stay around more. But either way, that's sort of some hope. It's sort of a white pill in a way for uglier dudes. Like, girls will settle with you, be happy with it. Like, life's not perfect, and we don't live in a fucking fairy tale where you need to find a soulmate, to be fair. Or everything has to be some cheesy, perfect, fake thing, which would never happen, you know, in life, in nature. The reality is, you usually settle, not even in a bad way, but whoever's around you in nature will be who you'd end up with, most typically, if you had an attraction. And that's how it is. And nowadays we've been brainwashed by Disney and other bullshit to think we need to find this weird perfect soulmate which doesn't exist, to sort of, you know, have a happy forever after with. But it doesn't always work out like that, and that's kind of brutal in a way, I guess, for some people who've never been told that. But honestly, when you think about it and let it sink in, it's freeing. You don't have to, like, achieve something impossible, and you can accept the world we live in and stuff and be happy with where you are. Always strive to improve, though, like I say, as I keep repeating. Fucking little cats there, being cute. But yeah, I think that's probably everything I've got to say on it at the moment. Surgeries can be good. Really though, if you'd started eating natural food at a young age, you'd probably grow tall enough, your face would probably develop enough, and your skin quality and everything would be good enough that you wouldn't need to bother with people like me, I guess. You know, I've started this in late life. Obviously, I'm not going to get any massive changes from eating a certain way, at least physically. I think my skin has improved. If you saw it a few years ago, wow. And my mood has improved. And some things have improved as well. But, yeah, it's still worth doing just for the other improvements, like your mood and the way you feel, like, and everything. I feel much more comfortable in my skin now, weirdly, than I did years ago when I was lifting weights on steroids at one point for like a few months, believe it or not. Like, fucking 7 years ago for like 12 weeks. But yeah, right now I feel more at peace with myself, more calm, and that's more priceless. And I'm doing just fine with girls. Like, I say this not to brag or because I'm proud of it. I don't go out slaying. I could easily pump and dump, but I'd rather get a connection with a girl or girls, dependent, and let that build over time. That's just how I am. Fucking, it's more real. I'd rather feel like I exist and like girls actually give a shit about me. Plus the sex gets better every time if you're into someone, so there's that. First is worst, honestly. People chasing one night stands, you're deluded as well. You fucking, you know, you're just stuck in a game. Like, if anything, you're bragging about how many girls have been put off you. That's how many girls, if you slept with, doesn't mean as much as how many girls want to sleep with you again, or hang out with you again, or just like you, or who defend you behind your back if they hit someone talking shit behind your back. That shit means a lot, and I've got that, so I'm happy. Like, and I'm a manlet. Fucking Ltn, as the black pillars say. Doesn't matter. If anything, I shouldn't be telling you guys all this because it'll make my life harder. Because a lot of you guys are so caught up in this fucking neurotic block that you're unable to move. It's like you're paralysed by fear. And girls notice this weird crippling insecurities in you. And they can't put their finger on what exactly it is that's so off-putting about you. But they just sense something's off, like it's an act. Meanwhile, me, a little real one, emphasis on the little, I do just fine. I guess it's disarming in a way. Maybe it's disarming because, they wouldn't expect someone who looks like me to be actually more outgoing or appear so. But, I remember in uni as well, literally everyone in my class was 6'3" specifically, apart from one guy who was 6'1". But I was doing better, shall we say. I don't want to sound like a fucking bachelor bragging about conquest, because it's disgusting. But I was doing just fine. And the girls I was doing just fine with were taller than me usually, and older, and they were fit. And they had all these tall guys simping for them. But they were just full-on simps. Like, they'd never actually be real with a girl and connect. And you don't even have to do this bullshit game either. You can just be nice and fun. Girls just want to have fun, so do guys. If you make someone smile and laugh, obviously, if you're Danny DeVito and you make someone laugh, I know the sayings, you could say it's coke, but you can stimulate someone's mind, not even in a sexual way, but actually fucking connect to them and, talk deep and, I guess the argument would be that if you don't have the looks, you won't get to that point anyway. But I'd say you still can, like, to an extent. If you've got, like, one eye missing and fucking zero jaw, like only your top teeth, yeah, it's going to be a lot harder. Even then, to an extent, if you're willing to lower your standards, shall we say, as well, it can work out. But anyway, this video ain't for those absolute, crazy cases, like people under 3 foot or whatever, or those are so exceptional. Likely it isn't you. And if it is you, why are you watching this? At this point, you should know that there's probably bigger things in life. But even then, for example, you see people with dwarfism getting relationships with other people with that. So there is still hope. In a way, that's kind of a good thing about this society where we're all so connected to the world. It's easy to find people like that. But then I guess the argument, once again, is that fucking even these people will be first in for people way out their leagues. But, it's still a minority of people. It's becoming more of a big amount, but the reality is, maybe it's harsh and stuff, but a lot of people will settle for better. They'll yearn for something better, but they won't get it because there's only so many of them, and, yeah.